Hey guys, I'm making this video to show you all how to install and set up the Georgia theme for foobar2000. I've had a lot of questions about how to do the initial install, and it's not really that complicated, but making this video to help everybody out. We're going to be going over setting this up for both default UI and columns UI at the end of the video. So first things first, just some initial setup stuff. I had already downloaded foo play count, foo JavaScript panel, and foo enhanced play count, and I've already installed those in foobar. So just to speed things up a little bit. But the very first thing you need to do is come into the Georgia repo on GitHub, go to releases, and just download the source code. So that goes pretty quick. And then I've now unpacked that. We need to install this in our foobar folder. So I'm going to go to app data like that. And that will take us to app data roaming. And then we want to go inside foobar. And just to be clear, this is for a normal foobar install. The process is basically the same for portable install, except instead of going to app data roaming, you're going to be going to the location they actually installed the foobar executable in. So you'll see here, this is normal. So we're just going to copy Georgia into here. Shouldn't take too long to unpack. And then we need to just rename that Georgia. So before we even start foobar at this point, the other thing we want to do is we want to come into the fonts folder and install all these fonts. I've already done this for some of these, but you just want to do that to be careful. Make sure that everything looks correctly. There's also this Windows Systems fonts folder. Nobody who is on Windows 7 or later even needs to do this. It's strictly just for Vista and XP. So that's done. We can go ahead and launch foobar. One thing I kind of recommend doing before we do that is to come in and pin the foobar folder in your app data to quick access. It just makes getting there a little easier. So in case anybody sees me going to that shortcut, that's what I've done. So let's start up foobar. This is just the default UI. So we're going to want to come into layout, create scratch box, and we want to add a new UI element. We're going to scroll down and go to JavaScript panel, click OK, and then apply layout. And we're good. Okay, so now we just have one massive JavaScript panel taking up all of foobar. And then in Georgia, I'm going to come in here, and you'll see this Georgia text file, not Notepad, and I'm going to copy the entire contents of that. Come in here, select all these things for the JavaScript panel, and you just click anywhere to open this dialog, by the way. So I do that, paste things in, click OK, and I've got Georgia up and running. Pretty simple. One thing, one good way you can know that everything is the your font installed correctly is if if the transport controls look accurate. If these are numbers instead of like actual symbols, then you need to install fonts, and you'll have to close foobar and reopen it after installing fonts for those to show correctly. So I can just press play, and everything kind of works. Now you notice I don't have any images shown in here, so let's go and download those. I'm going to go back to the main George instructions, and I can just come in and click on these links and download all these things. Some of these files are really big. Flags and oops, record labels. Okay, so those are all downloaded. Now I'm going to come in here, and we're going to extract these to our main foobar folder. We don't want to do it in the Georgia folder, so we're going to create a new folder, call it images, one there, and then I can just drag these folders over. Now actually unpacking these from zip files, it takes a little while, so you guys don't have to sit here and wait for a couple minutes. I'm going to just delete that folder, and I already have, oops, I've already extracted those to the images folder. So once you've copied over artist logos, flags, and record labels, you'll see them in here like this. And then if I press play again, you'll see that our flags, our artists' logos, and our record labels are shown up correctly. Now again, some of these fields, especially like the record labels, those are entirely dependent on the tags you have set up for your files. So I have a label field in all my files which has a record label name. So if you're not tagging that way, currently this theme has no way of downloading that information and knowing what the record label is to show for your particular song or whatever. So just be aware, it's not psychic. You have to have that data somewhere in these. Likewise, the artist logo, I have a field in here which is artist country. We'll just where that, which is how we know to show that logo to begin with. So okay, so that's the setup for default UI. Let's do the same thing for columns UI. Okay, so first we need to switch to columns UI. Do that. We have to restart foobar. Boom. Okay, so this is just I think the standard default columns UI view. Go back into preferences. So we're going to go to columns UI, expand these, and then go to layout. And we don't want a playlist view, so I'm going to remove that. And we don't want the playlist switcher. You can keep the playlist switcher if you want. We're going to do that, and I'm going to insert panel, JavaScript panel. And now we've got one JavaScript panel now. So one thing I like to do when doing columns UI is I like to use some filters. This is not a requirement at all, but I think it's kind of a quick way to do these things. So I add some filters to my theme. This will show up here. And I also like to auto-hide that splitter. So when I apply that, click OK. All we see is one massive thing. Oops, hold on. Actually, I'm going to paste the theme in here. So I'm going to copy this. Oops. Paste it there. Okay. So I've got just my main Georgia panel in there, but if I move my mouse over to the edge, my filters come out, and I can select it. So that's basically all I need to do to set up the Georgia theme. I'll show you guys one other little trick, I guess. I don't think I have Wave foobar installed. I'm going to go back to my downloads folder. Install foobar. Restart foobar. So here I'm going to go to layout, add another panel, and we'll just add the waveform foobar like that. That is a little big. Let's shrink that down, hide that caption. And then now when I play a song, we have the wave foobar. It's a little weird though to have two foobars, the theme foobar and the wave foobar. So I provide a little handy option to disable that progress bar. And so now we can use Georgia pretty seamlessly with the wave foobar. I know there's ways to make wave foobar a little prettier, but I don't ever use it actually. So you guys have to figure that out on your own. Hopefully this was instructive and should answer questions on what you need to do to install the theme correctly. As always, if you have any issues or questions, just open an issue on GitLab. Thanks so much.